Hi, this is Rian from Must Be Noob. This lab guide is on how to configure MFA registration policy for Microsoft Entra ID user account. Multi-factor authentication provides a means to verify who you are using more than just an username and password. It provides a second layer of security to users' sign-ins. For users to be able to respond to MFA prompts, they must first register for multi-factor authentication. You must configure your Microsoft Entra ID organization's MFA registration policy to be assigned to all users or selected users. For this, you must configure your Microsoft Entra ID organization's MFA registration policy to be assigned to all users or selected users. Identity protection will prompt your users to register the next time they sign in interactively, and they will have 14 days to complete the registration. During this 14-day period, they can bypass registration if MFA isn't required as a condition, but at the end of the period, they will be required to register before they can complete the sign-in process. Access Microsoft Entra Admin Center as a global administrator. Click on Go to ID Protection. Select Identity Protection. Under Protect, select Multi-Factor Authentication Registration Policy. Under Assignments, you can select from all users or select individuals and groups if limiting your rollout. Click on All Users. Choose Select Individuals and Groups radio button. Click on Groups tab. Select Pilot Group, name MFA Pilot GRP1. Click on Select. I have selected the pilot group to test the policy result. Under Exclude, select Users and Groups and choose your organization's emergency access or break glass accounts. Under Control, notice that the required Azure AD MFA registration is selected and cannot be changed. Keep in mind that Microsoft is currently renaming Azure Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID, so in future might be this option can be renamed. Change policy enforcement from disabled to enabled. Select Save to save the changes. Multi-factor authentication registration policy in Microsoft Entra ID tenant is configured successfully. Click on Identity. Click on Groups and select All Groups. Click on MFA Pilot GRP1. Click on Members. Tomcat is the member of this pilot group. So I will use the credential of Tomcat to test the result. Open new browser window in private mode. Type myaccount.microsoft.com and press Enter key. Enter a username and click on Next. Enter user password and click on Sign in. Due to the MFA registration policy, identity protection will prompt your user to register for MFA. They will have 14 days to complete the registration. During this 14-day period, users can bypass registration if MFA isn't required as a condition. But at the end of the period, they will be required to register before they can complete the sign-in process. Your organization needs more information to keep your account secure. You have 14 days until this is required. You can click on Ask Me Later to bypass the registration, or you can click on Next to start the MFA registration process. Click on Ask Me Later to bypass MFA registration. Already, I have created lab guide on how to complete the MFA registration process. Click on Yes to stay signed in. Keep in mind that users have 14 days to complete the registration process. At the end of the period, they will be required to register before they can access their accounts. In this lab guide, you'll learn how to configure MFA registration policy for selected users in Microsoft Entra ID. That's all for this lab guide. Stay tuned for more videos like this. See you all in the next lab guide.